City of Stevens Point Transportation Commission meeting, recorded July 13, 2020.
And it is 4:45. So I'm going to open up the agenda. Okay. So we'll call the meeting to order, and the first thing on the agenda is the roll call. I don't know, do you want to run?
I do have everybody listed, but Greg, this is your first meeting. Welcome to the Transportation Commission, and thank you so very much for volunteering to do this. We appreciate it. You can't see me because I don't have a camera on my screen, but feel free to stop by and visit when you get a chance. I could love to give you a tour and talk to you about what we do here at Central Transportation.
Terrific. I will take you up on that. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be a part of the committee. So thank you for your welcome.
Hey. All right, well then we'll move on to agenda item number 2, approval of the June 8, 2020 minutes.
I move to approve. This is Carolyn.
Nicole, second.
So we got a motion by Carolyn and a second by Mary. Mary, you and Tom did it at the same time, but since you raised your hand, it's you. All right. Any questions or further discussion on the minutes? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the motion to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Hi.
Those opposed? Motion carries. And then Tom just made a suggestion that we go around and introduce ourselves to Greg, which is a really good suggestion. So why don't we go ahead and do that? I'll start. My name is Nicole Lispy. I am the chairperson for the commission. I've been with the commission for probably 12 or 13 years. So I've lived in Stevens Point for about 22 years. And this is a great committee to be a part of. Welcome to the committee. I also work for the Department of Transportation as a civil engineer, do design and construction oversight. So, Carolyn, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Carolyn Peterson, and I am the, co-chair, vice chair, Nicole, second in command. I have been on the commission for, like 5-6 years, maybe. What? And I am the resource coordinator at Mid-State Independent Living Choices. That's my day job. And it's good to meet you.
I'll go. So my name's Tom Bertram. I have lived in the community since 2008, and I've been on the committee now for probably, if Carolyn said 5 to 6 years, then I would say mine is 4 to 5 years. I came on a little bit after Carolyn did. And my day job is I work at the Human Resources Office at UW Stevens Point. So I've gotten to interact with you in that way before. And then, yeah, I do enjoy this committee.
Yes, I recognize you right away, Tom.
Good. Then I'm doing my job.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe I should say something.
Sure.
I'm also quite new to this commission. I'm the District 8 alderperson from the City Council. So, and I got elected back in April. So I've, been here since basically, the end of April, May, something like that. My day job is I'm a professor at UWSP. That's me.
What do you teach?
Mostly I teach German language.
Okay.
I'll jump in next. Greg, I'm Mary Kneebone, the District 7 alderperson. I've been on the committee since I was elected in 2015. My current day job is being retired, and it's very hard work. In a former life, I was an urban planner for the city of Dallas. So that's how I came to choose the council as something to do when I retired. The people on this committee are very committed and very nice to work with. So welcome aboard.
Thank you, Mary.
I think we've been almost pretty much around the horn. Greg, I'm Joel Lemke. I'm the Director of Public Utilities and Transportation. So this is one of the 3 wonderful commissions involved in the broader department. A majority of my time is really spent with utilities. Susan's one of the division heads in that department and does a great job of handling the day-to-day and these commission meetings and stuff like that. So I'm not here at every commission meeting, but through this time when we're holding them by video conference and whenever there's kind of a unique item, I tend to pop in and do what I can to help out.
Nice to meet you, Joe.
Pleasure.
Yeah, and Greg, I'm Susan Lemke. I'm the transportation superintendent. I have been with the city transportation division for almost 23 years. So, yep.
Well, terrific. It's very nice to meet everybody. I look forward to working on the committee. Currently, I'm an associate lecturer at UW Stevens Point, responsible for teaching leadership and management in the School of Business and Economics. This fall, I'm also starting my doctorate in career and technical education at UW Stout. The previous 20 years I spent as Vice President of Workforce Development and Administration at Rail Transport out of Marshfield, a large national truck transportation and logistics company. We're very well known for safety and really industry-leading safety programs. So Susan and anybody on the committee, if I can be of assistance in that area, I'm glad to. And hopefully I can bring some of that experience to bear on the committee here.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to agenda item number 3 then, which is approval of the June 2020 financial claims report.
So I have a question. As I was looking over the financial report, there's just one thing that jumped out at me. It seemed pretty straightforward. But the one thing that jumped out at me is on an otherwise very detailed report, they're the largest line item, unless that was a roll-up and I just misread it. It didn't really have any detail. It was just a grouping, and I just wanted to understand that a little bit better.
Which line was that?
Where?
Yeah, I can probably get.
Are you on the next item? You're on minutes right now, right?
We're on the financial claims report. We already approved the minutes.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
That's all right. Is it payroll that you had a question about?
No, I'm just pulling this up now. It is
Insurance. Insurance is a lot of money too.
Yeah, it's under, it's 5747, insurance, retirement, fuel and employee deductions.
Right. What that is it's a compilation of all of those, essentially, many of them are employee benefits that the transportation division needs to reimburse the city of Stevens Point for health insurance costs, other paid benefits, retirement, Wisconsin retirement. Those are paid upfront by the city, and then they're drawn off from our actual budget. So essentially, we're paying that to the city.
Yeah.
And then the fuel costs are for all of the vehicles, of course, throughout the month. So you'll see this every month, and in this particular document, you'll see how much those costs are and what was cut from the transit budget and reimbursed to the city. Does that help?
It does. I imagined as much, but it just seemed kind of odd. I couldn't tell what kind of insurance it was.
Mm-hmm.
It says retirement. I imagined what that was. I didn't understand how fuel was lumped into that. And then I didn't understand exactly what employee deductions meant.
Sure.
I guess maybe, a little bit more explanation or a key on those things would be helpful. It's kind of a strange report. It goes from something that's just lumped together like that, and 2 lines below we got cable ties for like a few bucks. I mean, so it goes from just a real generalized thing into a real specific thing, and that just kind of threw me a little bit. So I appreciate that clarification. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, so any further questions? Okay, we'll need a motion then.
Yeah, I move to approve the financial report.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first,
Towers.
a second by Carolyn. Any further questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll take the motion to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. And then we'll move to the next agenda item. To open back up the agenda now.
Okay.
All right. Approval to use transportation general funding for roof repair. So what roof needs to be repaired?
The transportation facility developed a leak that came down into the hallway of our office area, and upon further inspection, it was determined that there needed to be some repair to the ridge cap and the area in surrounding that ridge cap. It would essentially be on the roof, the lower roof that encompasses our office area, and so we put the work out for bid, and we have 2 bids on that project. I did not know this was going to happen, so I wasn't able to apply for a federal grant for this, and talk to Joel about the possibility of using some of our general funds for this repair, because it is essential that we get this done as soon as possible. And we do have we do have funds in our general fund that would cover this cost. So I'm proposing that you consider the use of general funding to repair the roof. And I
What
can
are
give you
the,
an idea.
what were the,
Okay, I do have two bids. One is $13,125, and the other is $11,412. And both of those bids do meet the specifications for this project.
I don't see any way for us not to make the motion, so.
I have a question.
Yep, Mary?
Susan, are you happy with the bids or the bidders? Do you think that they're, are they competent to do the job?
Yes, I think that they are. Yeah, I'm not familiar with them, but they were very responsive. And, they replied back. They indicated that they were going to use the products that were asked for within the specifications. So I don't have any reason not to award to them. One is from Oshkosh and the other is from Green Bay.
I have a question. So on the agenda, number 4 is the general use of it, and then number 5 is to actually award. So are we are we looking to do 2 separate motions ultimately? The first one is just to kind of open the door, and then the second is to actually figure out who?
Right. Number 4 is to actually approve using general funds for the project. And then number 5 would be to award the project to a bidder.
Just a small point of clarification here, and just a little phraseology here. I do want to note that these are quotes, not bids.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we didn't go through the
Yeah.
public procurement process because we didn't meet the threshold where it was required. So that's the process we go through, get 2 or 3 quotes. In this case, you got 2 back. I understand there may be a third coming yet, but if you were to approve the use of the general fund dollars, I'd say that where they're coming in, and we'd go with the lowest, reasonable quote. And it looks like right now it's just under $12,000.
Tom?
I move to approve the use of general funding dollars for the roof repair.
I'll second, Carolyn.
So we have a motion by Tom and a second by Carolyn. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll take the motion to vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. So now we can move to agenda number 5, which is approval to award the roof repair bid to the lowest responsible bidder.
Nicole, I'll move to approve the award to the lowest responsible bidder.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Mary and a second by Tom Leek. Did I call you Thomas or Tom?
Yeah. Earlier when you called out Tom, I was like, wait, what, me? So yeah, maybe Thomas, just to be clear, but I go by Tom too. That's fine.
All right. Okay, so any questions on the motion or any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, then we'll take the motion to vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, on to agenda number 6, approval to forward with purchasing bus operator protection barriers. Susan, you want to lead on a discussion?
Sure. Of course, with the COVID issue that we've been facing and trying to keep our drivers as safe as possible, one of the things that we have discussed internally is the need for a protection system for our drivers to help, obviously to help keep them safe and healthy. So I've been doing some research on protection barriers and have a pretty good idea where we want to go with this if approved. We're looking at a barrier that will protect the driver from not only the COVID virus and other viruses, but also protect them in the event of an assault or an attempted assault. So it's a dual purpose barrier. The good news is that I have secured funding for this project, which we anticipate will fall in the range of 40,000, just under, well, around 40,000 probably by the time we're done, to purchase them, and our mechanics will install them. So I have secured funding that will cover 100% of those costs through the CARES Act funding, which today was just announced that also the state will be able to cover the local share with CARES Act funding too. So it's 100% funded, and basically I just wanted permission to move forward with this purchase.
I just have a question. What is it? I mean, is it like those clear things that you see like at all the stores, or what is it?
It's a door-like system that has the plexiglass or the glass that would go between the driver and the clients, the passengers. The one that we're looking at also has a window that will move back, open and close, versus some of them are stationary. This one will allow for the window to be opened in 3 different positions, which would allow, better opportunities for ventilation and things like that. It has an unobstructed view of the curbside mirror, and also allows the driver to get a clear view of the entrance door, that type of thing. So it's actually a barrier that operates like a door. It opens and closes, has a window, so that's the best way I guess I could describe it. And again, the plexiglass in between riders and drivers will prevent germs from passing between the two. And again, because it is a door on the bottom, in the event of an assault, such as we had a while back, that it would have been able to prevent that from happening. So as long as we have the opportunity to purchase them at 100%, I felt it would be wise to not only protect them from germs, but also to protect them from physical attacks on them in the event that would happen.
Susan, I have a question
Thank
for
you.
you. I know we're not charging for rides, correct? That's still a thing?
Currently, on the fixed route buses, no, we are not charging fares.
So,
But go ahead.
So then with this barrier, if we were to ever go back to charging, because I assume that the driver had to interact with the coins and the the people. So is this going to prevent that, or is there a long-term shift to get away from having physical currency? Or like the punch cards?
Right. We're looking at other options right now for the punch card. And, you know, this installing the barriers will allow us to start charging fares maybe sooner than we would otherwise, because it is our intention not to have the drivers handling fares or money. Currently, they do not handle any of the cash fares. Riders need to have the exact fare and put it into the fare box themselves. But the punch passes were a concern for us because the drivers touch those all the time. So we are looking at other options right now as to having individual passes that would be dropped into the fare box so that there wouldn't be the touching of passes between people.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Susan, I assume this is a system that's been around for a little bit. It didn't just come about as a result of the COVID situation. It sounds like it will serve that purpose in providing that barrier, but it sounds also like it's been a system that maybe has been around for a while. Is that so?
Yes, the driver barriers have been around for a while. That being said, there are a lot of them on the market that are just popping up in response to the COVID virus. But this particular one has been around for a while and seems to have a fairly good review. And it is also a product that is distributed and supported by Gillig, which is the manufacturer of our buses. And so we do put a lot of stock in what Gillig tells us because we've worked with them. Well, I've worked with them for, 20 some years and have found them to be a very sound company, and if it wasn't a good product, they wouldn't be supporting it and recommending it to their clients.
Thank you for that.
So yeah, so I'm comfortable with it.
This is Carolyn. I will make the motion. I will, I move that we move forward in purchasing the bus operator protection barriers.
And Bertram will second.
Okay, we have a motion by Carolyn and a second by Tom Bertram. Any further discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the motion to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. So we'll move to the next agenda item, which is approval of the Central Transportation Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan. So Susan, do you want to talk a little bit about this plan?
Sure, I would be happy to. The FTA has mandated that transportation systems have a safety plan in place. I believe it's by the end of this month. I think there was an extension made to it, but I really just, would like to make sure that we have ours done and in place on time, even though they extended it. So essentially, what you have before you is is our agency safety plan. WISDOT was very helpful in the creation of these plans because they are, you know, pretty lengthy. So they put together a template and asked all of us who wished to use that template to tailor it to our own systems. So the document that you have is just that. It's, you know, I did take their plan and made it ours. And so there are some formatting issues in this particular one, that is the draft copy that you have, that I will be looking at and making sure that everything is more consistent. And essentially, I need to have approval from our oversight committee, which is the Transportation Commission, of the plan. And once I have that, then I will make sure that everything is, the fonts are the same and things like that. And I'll move forward with the final copy and submit that to FTA. So I guess what I'm looking for today is just that, to just, you know, look at the content. If it looks like something you feel you can approve, you know, that's what I would like to happen today.
Susan, I did have a question. On that page, or maybe it's page 1. We provide transit services in Clover and Whiting, but they are not listed. Should they be listed?
The plan is for the central transportation, which is, you know, the service that we provide to Clover and Whiting is a subsidized service, but essentially we are the responsible, the city of Stevens Point Central Transportation is the responsible subrecipient for federal funds. So we're okay with just having Stevens Point in here. Unless I'm missing something, is there a specific spot that you, or section that you're referring to?
Yeah, on page 1 it says, does the agency provide transit services on behalf of another agency or entity? And then it has a yes or no box, and then description of arrangements. We also renew an agreement for the university. So I was just curious why they weren't listed there, but it could just be my interpretation of the form.
Well, it does say and Portage County, and Whiting probably be included in that because it's the city of Stevens Point and Portage County, which is the rest of the area.
Right, I can check on that, Nicole. I'll make a note and talk to them and make sure that we don't have to include any villages that we provide service to. So I will check on that. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, did anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I had a few. I'll try and get to the ones that I think are most salient. There was section 3.21, you talk about different data sources, and one that I didn't see there was the vehicle operating data. So for lack of a better term, maybe a the black box type of thing. So, speed, hard brake, abrupt actions, those type of things. I assume that would be a source that we'd want to gather data from and may want to include on the plan. The section 3.3,
I think Greg froze.
Did we lose Greg?
Yeah, looks like it.
It's frozen.
Oh. Hmm.
He just moved. Oh, he disappeared maybe.
Yeah, I'm not seeing him either.
I think he disappeared. I'm
I
sure he'll be
think-
back in a moment.
Yeah.
Well, while we wait for him to return, does anybody else have any other questions for Susan?
Okay. If nothing else, I can always give him a call and, if he's unable to join us again.
Yeah, you've got your quorum. I think you're good to continue until he comes back if you'd like.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Susan, I have a quick question. This isn't the final draft, correct? So Greg would have an opportunity next month to if he doesn't contact you in the meantime, he could get questions answered before we vote on it for a final time, correct?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can certainly do that. I can bring it back. And I can call him and make changes after the meeting. I was hoping to move forward with approval of it today, but like I said, they did extend the deadline, so it's not imperative that we do it today.
A lot of planners work from templates. I think it's a really it's good. I don't have any issue voting on it today. I just, I'd rather not have to get an extension. That always looks bad.
I agree. I like to meet deadlines, especially with the FTA.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, like Susan said, she can reach out to see what his concerns were, and if they're material to the conversation, obviously it would need the committee, not that individual objecting and changing. So as a quorum of the commission, I would say that you should, if you guys are comfortable with it, take that action. If not, let's talk about the changes you want to see. But just understand that Susan will get a hold of them before council, so that as these minutes are approved next Monday by the common council, that the things you take action on today are relevant, and if there's some small things prior to then, I can talk to them on the council floor to say, here's the few changes that might not be seen as just minor, insignificant, for everybody to understand.
So we need a motion to go forward, correct? I would move to approve the plan.
So it's still in draft format though, right, Susan?
It
Or
is,
is
yeah. It is draft. The one that you're looking at is a draft.
So
So why would we, so don't we want to approve the final draft?
This is Greg. I'm back on again. I'm
Oh,
on my
hi,
phone.
Greg.
there we go. Good.
Okay, so I think you were referring to 3.3.
Yes. So just the concern that if the safety assurance reports are the driver of our continuous improvement process, that if we just have an annual reporting cycle, we may not be really living up to the spirit of continuous improvement. And I would just suggest maybe something a little bit more frequent, perhaps a quarterly report.
Semi-annual. So your evaluation of safety performance update. And you're referring to having quarterly versus semi-annual?
Well, actually, in the one section, I believe it said annual. In another section, it said semi-annual. So maybe just to get some alignment around that, first of all. And then, yes, I guess, again, if that safety assurance report is the driver of our safety activities, I would like to see it on a more frequent basis. I wouldn't suggest overdoing it. It's, there's certainly that possibility as well. But I think quarterly is what resonates with me. So I'll throw that out there for consideration.
Mm-hmm. And I think just maybe are you referring to how often we do ride check evaluations and compliance reviews, Greg, or are you talking about when the performance outline would be presented back to the committee, to the commission?
Yes, I think it's the latter. And again, I'm just working off of the language within the report, which talks about, the safety assurance process is what drives, the safety improvement efforts. And so just ensuring that reporting process is aligned with the intent of continuous improvement.
Okay.
And then, I'm sorry.
Again, I'm just reading this. Just bear with me. Annual performance outline will determine. I know that.
So I would offer this for the committees and your benefit. I wouldn't want to try and rework this on a line by line basis. So I've offered that suggestion. I have one other suggestion to offer. Overall, I'm comfortable with the overall structure and content of the report, and assume it would be somewhat of a living document that we could make some minor adjustments to through the course of our operations, to continue to make sure that it's a dynamic document, and which it should be to serve the purpose of safety. So, I can certainly approve this, with that spirit in mind, that we can continue to make some minor adjustments. The other thing I'd recommend now, though, is in Appendix F, that in all of the goals, you turn those into a higher level of specificity and put those in terms of X to Y by when.
Okay.
So right now, they're very open. They're very broad. It's way too generalized. And again, this plan will drive safety behaviors, and so I think it should be very specific from X to Y by when for each one of those goal areas.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I agree.
These plans aren't easy, and so I definitely appreciate the effort that you put into it.
Is this our first safety plan, Susan? Or is this an update?
This is the first. We've had other safety plans, but this one is definitely more in depth than anything else that we've had. Some of what's in here we have been doing already, but this one, like I said, it's definitely, it has it's going to capture more in-depth information. What we have now is we do the facility and vehicle safety inspections, and yeah, and just a more simplified version of that. But this takes it to the next level. So yes and no. So I guess, Nicole, it's up to you if you want me to bring this back, or if the commission is willing to approve it as it is. And as Greg mentioned, it'll be a document that we'll, begin with, and it will evolve over time. And because of the deadlines and the expectations that are outlined within this, it will definitely be a document that can't just be put on the shelf. It'll have to be a working document and an ongoing, evolving document. So, it's something that we can bring back to the table every so often. Quarterly
So is this
I think with our system, quarterly is pretty ambitious, just because fortunately, we don't have a lot of safety issues, because we do try to, manage a pretty safe operation here. We try everything we can to have a safe operation, so we're on top of it. And however, there's always room for improvement. And but I think if we do report quarterly to the commission, that would be, you're not going to see a lot of activity. I think, we can certainly do that, at least, maybe in an abbreviated form, just to touch base with how we're doing with safety within our division. But again, it has not been a huge worry because we are so conscientious about safety.
Yeah, I get that and I understand that. Again, I think part of it just lies in some of the definitions, particularly around the safety assurance process. And I wouldn't think it would require much in terms of something elaborate. It could probably be a written report or just a brief overview. Something that, I'm sure will arise if it hasn't already is, and it fits into the structure of this, and that's efforts regarding COVID mitigation, which, illness is one of the listed hazards, within the definition of the overall process. So I imagine just even wanting to get some insights on that would, is something be a little bit more dynamic than an annual or semi-annual process. But like I said, overall, I think the structure is great, and it's a good guiding document. We view it as dynamic. I'm very supportive of what you put together.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I guess, if we're approving it, so to speak, as a guiding document or framework, that's fine. It would just be, strange to say if it, if we approve this document and it goes up to another committee or common council, and then it's a different document, then that's, I don't know, that strikes me as a little odd. But if we approve it as a framework, then, okay, I can see that.
So like our TDP, I think it's called a TDP, that gets updated every 4 years. Is this something that gets updated like every 4 years also, Susan?
Yep, yes, it is. It's every 5, I think. We do a transportation development plan.
How often do we do that?
I'm sorry, Carolyn, I didn't hear you.
How often do we update this? The safety plan.
It is annually.
Okay.
I believe it's in June. It'll be in June every year that, based on the language that was in here, we need to take a look at it at a minimum annually.
So we could approve this as the first one and make adjustments.
Yes, we could. And we could also do quarterly, as Greg was suggesting, do quarterly reports or updates. And I think if I was understanding you correctly, Greg, that's what you were looking for, is not to just see this once a year, but to have the commission talk about how we're doing with our safety planning, maybe on a quarterly basis. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
My sense is that process of discussing the safety issues and how we're doing against our agenda, that's going to be a forcing function, a driving function towards ensuring that the safety behaviors, proliferate through the organization. So just a check-in on progress towards trainings and, critical incidents, accidents, et cetera, your typical standard type of dashboard metrics.
That's a very good suggestion, because it'll do exactly what you're hoping it does then, is to keep that in the forefront of our minds, and to let the commission know what we're doing in regard to safety. I really like that suggestion. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And if there's anything, I'll check in with you and see if there's anything I can help in terms of putting together some type of a dashboard or metric report.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, we've had a lot of discussion. I'm okay with approving it today. If you could just check on whether or not we need to list those other entities. So if everybody else on the committee is okay, then we'll need a motion. Was the thumbs up your way of saying that you're making the motion,
Oh,
Thomas?
sure. Okay, I'll make the motion. I move to approve the, oh, it's thumbs up. Yeah, we can approve it. But yeah, okay, I'll make the motion then, to approve the safety plan.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion by Thomas and a second by Carolyn. Any further discussion or questions for Susan? Okay, seeing none, we'll take the motion to vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. So next agenda item is the next meeting date. In keeping with our standard second Monday of the month, we would meet on August 10th at 4:45 via Zoom, right, Susan? Unless we hear otherwise?
Yeah. Correct, yes, that's
Okay. Okay,
All right, what day again? I was just opening my calendar.
August 13th.
August
or
13th.
August 10th.
Yeah.
Monday,
Okay.
August 4:45.
Thank you.
Yep. All right.
I will be on vacation, but Tom Carroll will, our operations supervisor, will be here. So he'll oversee the meeting or be available.
Okay, sounds good. And move to agenda item number 9, which is adjournment. So I'll call the meeting adjourned. Thanks everybody for zooming in. Have a good month.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Videos of these meetings are available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.